Brace yourself. The United States GDP grew at a measly 1.1% annual rate in the first quarter of 2023, the slowest pace since the pandemic-hit economy reopened. In a recent NPR article, some economists are predicting that we may be headed towards a very bad recession in the very near future.
Are we going down?
Wait, what is a recession really? And most people think it's a bad thing, but I heard there are opportunities for investments and entrepreneurs during a recession too. I've heard the same thing. If there were only someone out there who could just explain it to me like I was 5. Hey there, kiddos. Captain Casharoo here, and those are great questions. And let's start with what a recession is. Imagine you have a big jar of cookies, and every day you eat some cookies, and your mom refills the jar with more cookies. But one day, your mom loses her job and can't buy more cookies to refill the jar. So you start eating fewer cookies because you don't want to run out. But since you're eating fewer cookies, the jar now doesn't need to be refilled as often. This means that your mom doesn't need to buy as many cookies from the store, and then the store doesn't make as much money selling cookies. So the store might have to lay off some of its workers because it can't afford to pay them. And if those workers don't have a job, they might not have enough money to buy cookies and the things that they need for their kids. And this cycle, it continues. This is what happens in a recession. Okay, got that. But how do recessions start in the first place? I love that question. You know how sometimes you save your allowance to buy a toy that you really want? Well, sometimes grown-ups do the same thing, but for bigger things like cars, houses, or vacations. But when they're worried about the future, or they don't have as much money, they might not want to spend it on those things anymore. So why do people start worrying about the future in the first place? People worry about the future because sometimes things happen that they don't expect or that they can't control. I mean, have you ever been scared of something you didn't understand, like a loud noise or a dark room? I'm scared. It's kind of like that, but for grown-ups. Yes, grown-ups get scared too. And sometimes banks and other important places that help people with money have problems.
We ran out of money.
And when this happens, they might not be able to lend money to people or businesses that need it, and that scares people. Other times, wars can make things very hard for people and businesses. You know, when countries are fighting with each other, it can be harder to trade with other countries.
We ain't trading nothing.
And sometimes the price of things like oil, which helps us make important things like gas for cars, that can go up really high really fast. And this can make it harder for people to drive their cars or for businesses to ship their products. And sometimes the stock market, which is like a big store where people buy and sell pieces of companies, that can go down really fast. Now, when any or all of these things happen, people get worried about the future and don't spend as much money. But you know what? Even when things are scary, we can still be brave and help each other out. Thanks, Captain. So how long do recessions last? The answer to that question is a big fat
it depends.
Sometimes it's like a little bump in the road and it only lasts for a few months. It's kind of like when you get a little scratch or a bruise and it goes away in just a few days. I mean, it might hurt a little bit, but it's not too bad and things go back to normal pretty quickly. Other times it can last for much longer, even for several years.
No way.
It's kind of like when you get a really bad boo-boo and it takes a long time to heal. You might need to see a doctor or take medicine, and it might take a while before you actually feel better. So the length of a recession, it can depend on many different things. Sometimes it depends on how bad the recession is or what caused it. Other times it depends on what people and governments do to try to make things better. For example, when a government tries to help, they might do things like give people money or create jobs so that people can have enough money to buy the things that they need.
Yeah, buy yourself something nice.
Kind of like when your mommy or your daddy gives you a treat or a big hug when you're feeling sad. Those types of things can help you feel better faster. But if they give you too many treats and too many hugs, that can make you fat and lazy. And although you may feel good today, it can be really bad for your health in the future.
Here's a fun fact.
One thing that most people don't realize when it comes to how long a recession lasts is sometimes how people feel about the economy can make a big difference in how long it does last. You see, when people are scared or worried about money, they might not want to spend it. When lots of people feel this way, it can make things harder for businesses because they don't sell as much stuff. And then businesses are forced to lay off some of their workers. And that's really sad. But when people feel happy and positive about the economy, they spend more money and help businesses, which can create jobs and make things better for everyone. So you see how people feel about the economy can make a big difference in how long a recession lasts too. When people are happy, things can get better faster. But when people are scared, things might take longer to get better. Now we can all help if we just stay positive and keep spending money on the things that we need.
I will go unbuy the bubble. Thank you. Okay.
And if you see grown-ups getting scared and worried, try to encourage them to stay positive too. This would be a good time to show me your positivity. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Together, we can help make things better and get through tough times like recessions. Hey, thanks for that, Captain. You know, I'm feeling better already. So while we're in a recession, where are the opportunities? See, you're thinking positively already. I like that. So some companies that provide really important things like food or healthcare might not be as affected by a recession as other companies. That means that if you invest in these companies, you might be able to make money even when other companies aren't doing as well. Or maybe you have an idea for a business that can provide something really important during a recession, like fixing things or providing education.
Education? Oh.
You know, if you start a business like this, you might be able to help people and make money at the same time. Now, during a recession, some things might be cheaper than usual, like stocks or real estate. And if you do your research and talk to grown-ups who know about investing, you might be able to buy these things for a lower price and make money when they go up in value later on. And sometimes people come up with really cool new ideas for things that can help people during a recession. Like maybe a new kind of technology that can make things easier or more efficient. So if you invest in companies that are working on these new ideas, you might be able to make a lot of money in the future. But remember, my little friend, all investments carry risks, and it's important to talk to grown-ups who know about investing before you make any decisions. Just like how you ask a grown-up to help you when you want to cross the street. You should ask for their help when you want to make smart investments too. Hey, can you go back a little bit and tell me some more about investing in real estate during a recession? Investing in real estate during a recession can be a really good idea, but it's important to be smart about it. You should look for properties that are on sale because they might be cheaper than normal during a recession. For example, look for foreclosures. Sometimes when people can't pay their mortgages, the bank takes back their house and sells it to recover the money that they loaned to the owner to buy it in the first place. These are called foreclosures, and they can be a good opportunity to find a property at a lower price. Or number two, look for distressed properties. Some properties might be in poor condition or need repairs, which can make them harder to sell. You can find lower prices here too. Or number three, look for property owners that are experiencing distress. You know, sometimes people go through a tough time like a divorce, a job loss, or they're just on a run of bad luck and that causes big problems in their lives. And they need money quickly to address those problems. So some will sell their properties fast at a discount so they can solve those problems entirely.
Problem solved.
It's also important to buy in areas that are likely to recover quickly from the recession, such as places with lots of jobs and lots of people moving in. You know, right now, Arizona, Florida, Nevada, Texas, Georgia, and Alabama are good places to look, as well as many places in the Midwest. You see, there are a lot of folks that have kind of had it up to here with big city living. Hey, thanks for the tips. So where does the country stand right now? Well, the economy is not doing so well right now. People are worried about spending their money, and banks are being very careful about who they lend money to. This means that the country's economy is not growing as fast as it used to. It might even get worse in the next few months because prices are going up and so are interest rates. But people are still buying things, which helps keep the economy going.
You're welcome.
Some people in Congress are also fighting over how much money the government can borrow, which could make things even harder. And even though some companies like McDonald's and General Motors are still making money, they are also cutting jobs. So things might get a little tougher, but a lot of very smart people don't think the country will fall into a really bad recession this year, if it does at all. Okay, got it. So what should we do now? You know, you have really good questions. I like that about you. And because of your questions, I think you're gonna be just fine. But here are 3 things to do for now. Number one, be mindful of your spending. During a recession, it's important to be careful about how much money you spend. It's important to only buy the things you really need. And that could be goods, it could be services, and/or investing in yourself to make you smarter and better prepared for the future. That one's really popular during times like this. And number two, look for opportunities. Even though recessions can be tough, they can also create opportunities for investing and entrepreneurship. Number three, stay positive. During a recession, it's really easy to feel scared or pessimistic about the future, but it's important to try to stay positive and optimistic. We talked about how our feelings can impact the length of a recession. And if we know recessions don't last forever and things will eventually get better, why wait to feel better? So, what are your thoughts about what the captain had to say today? Share with me in the comments below. And who else do you know that needs to see this? When their name comes to mind, please share it with them. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.